What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. And oh boy, you better buckle up for this one because we have absolute breaking news that has just shaken the entire NFL world to its core. I'm talking about the kind of headline that makes fans drop their phones, jump onto Twitter, and start questioning reality. Reports are flooding in that the Dallas Cowboys, yes, the same Cowboys who built their defense around Micah Parsons, have just made a move that nobody saw coming. According to multiple insiders and early confirmations, the Cowboys have officially decided to part ways with Micah Parsons and move in a new direction that includes none other than superstar pass rusher Maxx Crosby as his replacement. I know what you're thinking right now. This has to be a joke, right? There's no way Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office would actually trade away the heart and soul of their defense, a generational talent, a defensive player of the year candidate every single season. But ladies and gentlemen, the whispers have turned into roars, the rumors have turned into reality, and the Cowboys are once again making national headlines for a decision that will change the trajectory of this franchise for years to come. Now, before we get into the juicy part of how Maxx Crosby fits in and what this means for the Cowboys defense, let's rewind for a second because this didn't come out of nowhere. If you've been following the Cowboys closely, you know the relationship between Micah Parsons and the front office has been a roller coaster for months. Contract extensions, social media posts, cryptic comments about loyalty, frustration over leadership. It's been bubbling under the surface. Parsons is one of those players who plays with his heart on fire. He's passionate, vocal, and confident. But that same passion sometimes leads to tension when he feels he's not being valued enough. Over the past few months, insiders reported that Parsons had grown increasingly irritated with the slow pace of contract talks. He wanted to be paid like the best defensive player in the game, maybe even the best non-quarterback in the entire league. After seeing Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, and Myles Garrett get massive deals, Parsons wanted his own record breaker, and who can blame him? He's been the heartbeat of this defense since day one, a guy who can line up anywhere on the field, who commands double teams, who changes how offensive coordinators game plan every single week. But behind closed doors, things weren't clicking, negotiations stalled, and the Cowboys' financial situation was already tight with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Trevon Diggs on big contracts. Something had to give, then came the bombshell. Parsons reportedly told close friends and teammates that if Dallas didn't want to meet his price, maybe it was time for him to go somewhere that would. The front office didn't take kindly to that, and that's when other teams started sniffing around, particularly the Raiders and a few NFC contenders. Out of nowhere, the name Maxx Crosby started circulating in the conversation, and that's when the wheels began to turn. Crosby, one of the most relentless and respected edge rushers in football, had just come off another monster season. Double-digit sacks, countless pressures, playing through injuries, leading his team by example. He's a leader, a workhorse, and he's got that same ferocity that defines Micah Parsons. In other words, if Dallas had to move on from Parsons, Crosby was one of the few players in the league who could even begin to fill that void. What makes this even wilder is that just a few months ago, fans would have laughed off the idea of these two defenders being swapped or connected in trade talks. But with the Raiders rebuilding and Dallas trying to reshape its defensive identity, the puzzle pieces started fitting together in the strangest way. When the first reports broke that the Cowboys and Raiders had been in contact about a potential deal involving Maxx Crosby, most fans brushed it off as off-season noise. But the longer the Cowboys stayed silent on Parsons' contract extension, the louder the chatter grew. You know, every insider show, every sports talk podcast, every beat reporter covering the Cowboys had the same question. What's going on with Micah? And now we have our answer. Dallas made the difficult decision to trade away their superstar before his value could dip, or his frustration could boil over into something uglier. And in return, they secure one of the league's most tenacious pass rushers, a player who embodies toughness, motor, and leadership. It's a statement move, risky, controversial, but very Cowboys. That's fine. So, what exactly does this mean for the Cowboys defense? Well, first off, Maxx Crosby brings a very different energy compared to Parsons. Parsons is flashy, fast, and explosive. He's a hybrid linebacker who thrives in chaos. Crosby, on the other hand, is pure grind. He's a classic hand-in-the-dirt defensive end, built for power and persistence. His play style isn't about trickery, it's about wearing you down snap after snap until you break. He plays every down like it's his last, and teammates have described him as the last guy to leave the building and the first guy in every morning. That kind of attitude could be exactly what this Dallas locker room needs after an offseason filled with drama, contract disputes, and finger-pointing following another playoff disappointment. But let's not pretend this move doesn't come with risk. Trading away Micah Parsons isn't just losing a player, it's losing a symbol of identity. Fans saw Parsons as the heir to DeMarcus Ware, the next great defensive legend to wear the star. He was that rare combination of athleticism and swagger that made every game must-see TV. The Cowboys' defense revolved around him. He lined up everywhere, dictated blocking schemes, and drew so much attention that it freed up teammates like DeMarcus Lawrence and Osa Odigizua to thrive. Without Parsons, defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer will have to rethink the entire scheme. You can't just plug in another guy and expect the same results, but if anyone can make that adjustment, it's Zimmer. He's an old-school coach who values physicality, discipline, and smart rotations. Pairing Crosby with the Cowboys' current front could give them a new kind of balance. It won't be the same flashy, sack-heavy chaos that Parsons brought, but it might be steadier, stronger against the run, and more consistent week to week. Now, let's talk about fan reactions, because the internet is absolutely on fire right now. Cowboys Twitter is divided straight down the middle. Half of the fan base is furious, calling this one of the worst trades in team history, accusing the front office of once again letting ego get in the way of football sense. Like, they're posting highlight reels of Parsons chasing down quarterbacks, reminding everyone that he's a once-in-a-generation athlete. But the other half of the fan base sees this as an opportunity. They point out that Parsons was likely going to leave anyway once free agency hit, and that his contract demands would have crippled the salary cap. By moving him now, the Cowboys get Crosby, gets a proven star, a delight, plus potential draft compensation, and, more importantly, a locker room reset. Because make no mistake, as much as fans love Parsons, he had started to become bigger than the team in some ways. The spotlight was always on him, and every loss turned into a conversation about his leadership, his effort, or his comments to the media. The Cowboys have long been a franchise that battles between star power and team unity, and this trade signals a shift back toward the latter. Financially, this move is fascinating. Parsons was rumored to be asking for well over $45 million per year, which would have set a record for any defensive player. Maxx Crosby, while expensive, is locked into a deal that's far more manageable. The Cowboys save cap room, which means they can invest in other critical areas, offensive line depth, a veteran running back, maybe even another corner. Remember, Dallas has struggled to find playoff success, not because of one player, but because of an overall lack of balance. Their defense could dominate for stretches, but when the offense stalled or the run defense broke down, everything fell apart. Bringing in Crosby might not just be about sacks, it's about bringing in leadership, culture, and control. He's a guy who leads by example, who doesn't talk about change, he lives it. So, Cowboys fans, where do you stand? Are you ready to embrace the Maxx Crosby era? Do you believe this move will finally push the Cowboys over the hump and into true championship contention? Or do you think the front office just made one of the boldest mistakes in modern NFL history, Drop your thoughts in the comments right now because I want to hear from you. And if you're just as shocked as the rest of us, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another massive breaking story like this one. This season just got 10 times more interesting, and we're going to be here breaking it all down every step of the way. From star power to salary caps, from locker room drama to redemption arcs, this is what NFL fandom is all about. Passion, pride, and unpredictability. The Micah Parsons era may be over, but a new chapter is beginning. And if Maxx Crosby brings the same fire to Dallas that he's shown his entire career, this Cowboys defense might just rise from the chaos stronger than ever. Stay tuned, stay loud, and as always, go Cowboys!